Most people treat AI like a magic box. They type something in, hope for the best, and that's why 99% of them get generic outputs. But the top 1% understand something that most people never learn. I've been in tech for 20 years, and I currently lead multiple programs developing AI models at Google. I've seen how the best operators use these tools differently than anyone else. They don't work harder, they work differently. And I kept seeing the same gap between the people who get results and the people who don't. In this video, I'm going to explain the 3 things top AI users understand that everyone else doesn't. And then I'll show you the skill underneath all of it that matters even more. It takes about 10 minutes to learn and 30 seconds to apply, and it will put you ahead of 99% of the people using these tools. Here's what we're covering today. First is the prediction principle, which is what AI is actually doing when you hit enter. Once you understand this, it changes how you think about every interaction. Second is the mirror effect, which explains why your inputs determine your outputs and why that's actually useful. Third is the role, context, and outcome framework, which is a structure that actually makes AI useful in practice. Let's start with the prediction. And by the way, none of this is supposed to be technical, so don't think I'm just throwing jargon at you. Stick with me and you'll see how easy to understand these 3 different things are. You know how you can finish someone's sentence before they do? You're not reading their mind. You're predicting based on patterns, context, and everything you've observed about how people talk. AI does the same thing, except it's trained on more text than any human could read in 1,000 lifetimes. Here's actually what happens when you type something in. Let's say you help me write an email about something, and AI has seen that phrase millions of times. It knows what typically follows, so it predicts the most probable next word, then the next, and so on, building the response one word at a time, based on what usually comes next. AI doesn't actually comprehend what you're saying. It's matching your input against billions of examples and predicting what usually follows. Here's why this matters. When you type something vague, AI has seen millions of vague requests like it, so it predicts the most probable response, which is the one that would satisfy the most people asking that kind of question. That's why it sounds generic. Statistically, it is generic because it's the center of the bell curve. You're not getting a bad response. You're getting the mathematically most probable one, which is almost always generic. So the question becomes, how do you escape the average? The answer isn't exactly better prompts. It's understanding that AI responds to specificity. The more specific your input, the narrower the prediction space. And the narrower the space, the more useful the output. That's the prediction principle. AI doesn't understand your words. It predicts what comes next based on patterns. When you give it vague patterns, you get vague predictions out. And when you give it specific patterns, you get useful responses back. If you understand that, you're already ahead of most people using these tools. Now here's where it gets interesting, because this prediction mechanic creates something I call the mirror effect. I think of AI as a mirror. It's not a magic mirror that gives you what you want. It's a regular mirror that reflects what you put in front of it. If you put in something anyone could write, you get back something anyone could read. Scattered thinking gives you scattered responses, but clear input gives you clear output. Last week, I needed a report for the year end. I typed summarize this based on some documents that I had and got back garbage. It technically answered my question, but it didn't actually help because AI can't think for me or for you. Then I told it who the summary was for, what they cared about, and how long it should be. I got a completely different output from the same document. What changed, you may ask? AI stopped matching my request to millions of lazy prompts and started matching it to millions of specific ones. And those patterns give you things you didn't expect to find. The reason for that is AI doesn't know what you meant. It only knows what you said. The words you enter are the entire universe AI is working with. If there is context in your head that you didn't type, it's not there because AI doesn't have access to your head. It only has access to your words, what you say or what you type. Here's the part that took me a while to see. This isn't a limitation. It's feedback. Every time AI gives you something generic, it's telling you that your input wasn't specific enough. And every time AI gives you something useful, that's also feedback. It means you were clear. That's the mirror effect. AI reflects your clarity back at you. If you put in something vague, you get something vague out. If you put in something clear, you get something clear out. As simple as that. Once you see AI this way, you stop blaming the tool and start improving your input. And that's the real shift. The question now is, what does that clear actually look like in practice? That's part 3, which is the framework that makes this practical. Every effective AI interaction has 3 components: role, context, outcome. That's it. Just 3 things. It's not complicated, but most people skip at least one of them, and it's usually the second one. Let me show you what each one does and why it matters, so you never fail to get the responses you look for. Role is basically who should be answering your question. When you don't specify a role, AI tries to be everyone, which means it becomes this generic helpful assistant that's pleasant but forgettable. When you specify a role, AI stops trying to be everything and starts drawing from patterns associated with that specific expertise. For example, you could say, you're a senior editor who's worked at major publications for 20 years. Now, AI draws from patterns associated with that role, including the vocabulary, the standards, and the perspective. You can ask the same question with a different role and get a completely different output. You're telling the prediction engine which patterns to weigh. And even though that sounds simple, the effect is significant. Then we have context. Context answers the question, what does AI need to know? This is the one people skip. I skip it sometimes, and then I wonder why the output misses the point. Think about it. You have all this context in your head, like the project, the background, who it is for, and what the constraints are. You type a short question. AI responds with something completely off, and that happens because you didn't say any of that. So AI doesn't know. Think of context as a map. Without a map, AI wanders the entire territory of possible responses. But with a map, it navigates somewhere useful. I used to type short prompts, but now I spend more time on context than the question itself. It feels slower, but it's actually faster because you don't have to do it 3 times over. Now, let's talk about the outcome, which answers the question, what specifically do you want back? It's not help me with this, because that's not an outcome. An outcome is specific, like 200-word summary, or 5 options with trade-offs, or a first draft in a particular tone. When you define the outcome, you give AI the target. Instead of predicting something helpful, it predicts a 200-word summary in plain language. It's just 1 sentence about what you want back, and it changes everything. So, that's the framework. Role is who AI should be. Context is what it needs to know. Outcome is what specifically you want back. Those are the 3 questions you answer before you type. It takes about 30 seconds. And once you start using this structure, you've joined the top 10% of people using these tools. That's not an exaggeration, by the way, because most people, they don't think about any of this. Now, I want to step back because there's something underneath all of this that matters more than any framework. This isn't really about AI, because clarity isn't just an AI skill. It might be this skill. It's the ability to know what you actually want and say it precisely. Most of us walk around with half-formed ideas, hoping someone or something will finish them for us. AI won't do that. It just mirrors the half-formed back at you. That's uncomfortable, but it's also useful, because if you pay attention to feedback, you get better. You get better not just at using AI, but at thinking yourself. Clarity matters in communication, in leadership, in building things, in solving problems, and creating content. AI just makes the gap visible, and it does it immediately, every single time you use it. And here's the thing, if you want to create content, if you want to build something, if you want to communicate ideas at scale, AI amplifies whatever clarity you already have. The people producing great work with AI aren't the ones with the best prompts. They are the ones with the clearest thinking. The ability to apply clarity is what separates the top 1% from everyone else. And now you have the framework to practice it. So, as you start using what you learned today, whether it's the prediction principle, or the mirror effect, or the role context outcome, you are going to notice something deeper. Every prompt you refine, every time you clarify your thinking before you type, you're not just getting better outputs from AI, you are getting better at thinking yourself. AI is coming whether we like it or not. But the people who win aren't the ones who learn the most tricks. They are the ones who think clearly enough to use these tools for what they're actually capable of. You understand AI better than 99% of the people using it. That's not because you learned a trick, it's because you understand what actually is happening. Next time you use ChatGPT, Cloud, or Gemini, try this. Before you type, answer 3 questions. Who should it be? What does it need to know? What specifically do I want back? Take 30 seconds to answer those questions, then type and see what happens. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe. As always, I would love to hear back from you. Drop a comment below and let me know what you think. Thank you, and see you in the next one.